Hey, what's up guys? Hardleg Joe here with the What a Deck profile. This week it's Invincible Melodious. I'm just going to go through all the cards and I'll explain how they work. So we've got 2 Elegy, the Melodious Diva, 3 Aria, 3 Solo, 3 Hecatrice, 3 Cannon, 2 Honest, 3 Sonata, 3 Score. For the spells we have Transmodify, 3 First Movement Solo, 3 Magical Mallet, 3 Forbidden Chalice, 3 Valhalla, Hall of the Fallen, and 3 Solidarity. The extra deck, it's mostly just a rank 4 toolbox. There's not too much significance to it. There's a couple points I'll make, but I'll get to that once I start explaining the deck. So the point of this deck, the invincible part of it, that comes from this sort of lock you can get with Aria and Elegy. It's not really a lock, it's more that you can make your Melodious immune to just about everything. Aria's effect is when she's special summoned on the field, any of your Melodious monsters cannot be targeted by card effects or destroyed by battle. Elegy says that while she's on the field, all special summoned Melodious monsters cannot be destroyed by card effects. So if you get 2 of them, or both of them special summoned onto the field, the only thing that can stop you is non-targeting, non-destruction effects. Things like the Storming Mirror Force, the Monarch Storm 4th. There's a couple other things that can get rid of them. They're not too invincible. They were more invincible last year. Now there's quite a few things that can take care of them. But they're invincible enough. Like Burning Abyss and Cosmo have a lot of trouble getting through these because they target a lot, they destroy a lot. And if you get some things that they can't target or destroy, then they're going to be in for a spot of bother. So most of the cards are here to summon one of these 2. To summon Aria, we have a couple things. First, there's Solo. When she's destroyed by battle, you can summon a Melodious from your deck. So you could just ram her into someone, or just set her and hope they destroy it, and you'll get Aria out. First Movement Solo, if you control no monsters, special summon 1 level 4 lower Melodious, so you'll get Aria with that. Hecatrice, you could discard this to get Valhalla, and Valhalla Hall of the Fallen lets you summon a fairy-type monster from your hand if you don't control any monsters. So, starting like with this, Hecatrice, or Valhalla along with Aria, all of those are good combinations to get her out. As for Elegy, the main way we summon her is with Transmodify. This is send 1 face-up monster you control to the graveyard, then special summon from your deck 1 monster that has the same type and attribute, but is 1 level higher. So basically you want to get a level 4 light fairy, and it'll turn into a level 5 light fairy. So this is all of these are level 4 light fairies except for Score and Sonata. So if you have an extra Aria, if you have an extra Solo, any of these, you can just Transmodify and make it into Elegy. You can also just Tribute Summon her, and then her effect will still apply to Aria. If Aria's been special summoned, she won't be able to be destroyed by effects. But since she's Tribute Summoned, it won't apply to her. So like if they Dark Hole or Torrential Tribute, like Elegy will die, but the rest of your Melodious that have been special summoned will be fine. As for actually special summoning, like this one, if you control a Melodious, you could special summon it. So it's extra beat stick, it's a 2000 defense point monster, it's a target for Transmodify. If you don't have like a good starting hand, or if you already have your things set up and you have this and another Melodious, you can make rank 4 plays by normal summoning and then special summoning into that. So there's a lot of utility depending on what you want to do with that. Honest, obviously. Honest and Score, these are both essentially the same kind of card. If your opponent attacks one of your Melodious, you can either have it gain attack equal to their attack, or lower their attack to 0. If you have both, you can actually do both and do some pretty massive damage, especially for high attack point monsters. Like a Blue Eyes attacks, you'll gain 3,000, so you'll be up to like 4,600, and then you make their attack 0. Pretty brutal. And then finally, Sonata. Sonata is, if you special summon her, all your fairy-type monsters gain 500 attack. So that's the second part of this deck. It's really a beatdown deck, but it works on, instead of having to summon everything really quickly, you have these invincible monsters that can stall until you get all the things you need to give their attack high enough. If this is special summoned, all fairy-type monsters gain 300. If this is special summoned, they all gain 500. And if you control a Melodious, you can just special summon this. So you're already going up. Finally, we play Solidarity. That's if you only have one type of monster in your graveyard, all monsters you control with that type gain 800. So Sonata or Aria with Elegy, with Sonata and Solidarity, like all that added together, you could swarm the field with just 3,000 attack point monsters that can't be destroyed or targeted. So you just beat them down into oblivion. If they do happen to get something bigger than you, you can always just score Honest. Honest is also a target for Transmodify if you need to. There's always that. The only other things we play, and these are the least essential cards in the deck, are Magical Mallet and Forbidden Chalice. Magical Mallet is here because you don't want to have Elegy in your hand most of the time. You want to use it as a thing for Transmodify. Like I said, you can Tribute Summon, but most of the time you want it to be Special Summoned, so it'll be protected by its own effect. So Magical Mallet is just a good way to shuffle it into the deck and get something else, anything else. Hopefully one of your Transmodifies. And then Forbidden Chalice, this is just, most of the stuff that I have problems with are monster effects. Like I said, there's that one the Draco Slayer Pendulum, or not, the Draco Slayer Synchro, and the Monarch, the Erebus, the Dark Monarch. Both of those have non-targeting effects that'll shuffle your monster into the deck. So I played this because I ran into them more often in testing. Obviously, against decks that don't have that, you probably want to swap out for Kaiser Coliseum, because oftentimes you're just sitting with an Aria who can't be destroyed by battle or targeted, and if they can't get out more stuff, then they're stuck at the same way that you are. Likewise, Rivalry of Warlords, because all your monsters are fairy type, limiting their type is really, really good. And then just like, I got some Mystical Space Typhoons, some good destruction. You don't really want a Twin Twister because you don't want your stuff in the graveyard. And Galaxy Cyclone, like, a lot of the times if you run into something that really hinders you, it's something like Macrocosmos, because then you can't use Honest. So, Mystical Space Typhoon's actually a pretty good choice in here. As is Dark Bribe, normally not really that good of a card, but it stops things like the Monarch Stormforth, and the Air Mirror Force, and the Rippling Mirror Force. So just being able to have some Spell Trap negation, really good in this deck. The only other thing in the side deck, Summoner Monk. If you really need to be fast, if your opponent's playing something really aggressive like Cosmos, get rid of your Solidarity and put in Summoner Monk. He's a spellcaster, so he'll ruin Solidarity, but you'll be able to get out Aria even faster, or more likely to get her out faster. Maybe like 2 Summoner Monks and like a Kaiser, or a Mystical Space Typhoon, so you have something to discard for him. Which brings us back to also why, like, the one thing I wanted to mention about the extra deck, if you can, try to play mostly Fairy Cheer Girl or Ragna Zero. They're fairies, so they won't mess up Solidarity. The rest of these you've got to be kind of careful about, because if they get destroyed, then you're ruining Solidarity. Like, you're not getting that attack boost anymore, because you'll have a non-fairy. Most of these are just like situational if you need to get rid of really big stuff or go for game, so I don't worry about it too much. Heartland Draco is a good selection too, just because your opponent can't target him if you got a face-up spell, and we play a couple of those. So sometimes if you need to get that extra damage if you're both in a lock. The final thing I wanted to mention, someone told me to play Melodious Illusion, which seems kind of good because you can make your Melodious unaffected by spell traps, but you have to target them. And if you special summon Aria, you can't target her even with your own effects. So I actually wouldn't recommend this, because this doesn't work with this kind of build. If you're doing a more fusion summon one, this is probably pretty good, but otherwise I wouldn't really worry about it. So there's the deck. I hope you guys enjoy. Next week I'm going to be looking at an Ultimea Tzolk'in build, hopefully. Until then, good luck, have fun.